We all know that money is an emotional topic, but what we don't realize is that these emotions play a huge part in our bad money decisions. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 of the biggest emotional traps that I've learned from the psychology of money and how you can avoid falling into them. Number 1, pay the price. This is one that very few people understand, but everything you have and do comes at a price, whether it's a monetary price in dollars or cents or an emotional price like fear or doubt or stress. Nothing is free. And this is especially true when it comes to investing, because the price you pay isn't just the price of the stock or the amount you invest in. It's also the emotional volatility and the fear that comes with it, which isn't always intuitive in other areas of your life. For example, if you go to the gym today, it may hurt a bit tomorrow, you'll feel sore. And then 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the line, you will see results. But people tend to take these short payoff periods and apply it to investing. You think that by checking back in 3 months or in 6 months' time, the results will show. But that is where the emotional trap comes in. Let's say you bought an S&P 500 index fund in the 1980s. Yes, one can argue that it went up 11,000% since then, but you would still have needed to face about 13 years combined where your investment portfolio was down 20% from its high and 8 months when it was down 50%. It's only after paying that emotional price and sticking it out through those downfalls that you would have then benefited from the compounded results. And the longer you're able to ride out that volatility, the fear, the worry, the doubt, and stay invested, the more your money would work for you. And as Housel says, good investing is not necessarily about earning the highest returns, because the highest returns tend to be one-off hits that can't be repeated. It's instead about earning pretty good results that you can stick with, which can be repeated for the longest period of time. Number 2, the magnitude of chance. This was a bit of a difficult one for me to digest at first, but once you understand it, you'll change the way you think about earning and who to learn from. When it comes to making money, there are so many elements that come into play that are outside of your control, and they have a bigger impact on the outcome than what we would have done even intentionally. For example, our upbringing, our ethnicity, gender, which part of the world we live in. And Housel states that one of the main reasons we fail to become financially successful is because we underestimate the role chance plays in our financial lives. Ignoring chance or luck is dangerous, because many people try to gain wealth by imitating the most exceptional, successful people. If we see someone make a lot of money very quickly, we tend to look at that person and say, okay, how does she or he do that? And how can I copy that to be just as successful? But due to the fact of chance, luck, the right place at the right time, the odds won't necessarily stack up in our favor. He uses the example of Bill Gates, ultra successful, huge net worth, and you can say he achieved his success because he was super smart and super hardworking. But what we don't always think of is the fact that he also went to the only high school in America with a computer, and he was literally 1 in a million teenagers who had access to a computer. So having that accessibility was the chance element in his story that contributed massively to his financial success. Forget to look at the wider picture. What were their circumstances? When did they do it? What was the wider market like? How long have they done it for? So Housel explains, instead of focusing on the individual, it's better to focus on broader patterns to maximize your probability of success. So if one person did X to get wealthy, but many people did Y to get wealthy, doing Y will have a bigger probability of you gaining financial success. Number 3, wealth is what you don't see. This is probably the most important one on the list, and one that as a society, we often fail to see. We are social beings, so it is no surprise that we need social validation. But actually, craving for social validation makes us worse off. And a reason why so many of us fail to achieve financial success is because we confuse being wealthy with being rich. Rich people can lack wealth, but we can't see that they do. Their current income is high, so they have the money available to be able to spend on expensive items and tangible items. And so we confuse perception with reality. Whereas on the other hand, it's hard to identify a wealthy person because they save their money. You can't go into their bank account and see the money that they're not using. A quote from the book that says, rich is what we see, what we are wearing, the bag we're holding, the jewelry we're wearing. And on the other side, wealth is what we don't see. It's the cars not purchased, the diamonds not bought, the renovations postponed, the clothes forgone, and the first class upgrades declined. So knowing the difference between being wealthy and being rich is really important, because we learn by imitation. And so knowing who to imitate and who not to imitate can help us grow our money and grow our wealth. You understand the difference between being rich and being wealthy and start learning the habits of what a wealthy person does, you can prevent yourself from draining away your money and protect it. Number 4, use money to buy control. This is a lesson that has probably resonated the most with me. And whenever someone asks why I'm not spending money on buying this or buying that, it's because my sole focus is to use that money to create a life that I want. Using your money to buy time and options has a lifestyle benefit few luxury goods can compete with. And money buys you optionality and control of your life more than our salary, our corporate title or prestige of our job. Instead, to do what we want, when we want, with the people we want. That is one of the things that brings the most happiness that comes with the privilege of having wealth. It may come with sacrificing on other things for the time being. And I also have a specific video on the things that I no longer buy and my plan to get to this stage, but it's all in the name of focusing on what is really the best value for your money and the big ticket items. And that is to create a life that you have always wanted and having the freedom and control over your time. Number 5, contrasting narratives. We're all very familiar with this one, but very few of us implement it. We all know having money and being able to manage it gives you control, but how much money should you have? Well, there are studies that show how your income has diminishing returns on your personal life satisfaction. And beyond a certain point, more money stops buying you further increases of happiness until you realize that the goalpost on how much you want to earn will keep moving. The advice in the book is to know when to say enough. There's a limit to the value that money can bring into our lives. It's about finding the balance between accumulating wealth and preserving what truly matters, things like our relationship, health, and your overall well-being. Too often, people get caught up in the pursuit of more and more money, more possessions, more success, without taking a step back and considering the potential consequences. And this can cause sacrificing our physical and mental health, the damaging relationships, or even risking what we already have and our financial stability in the pursuit of making more. And in the book, he gives examples of how ultra-successful people risk everything they have in the pursuit to get more and damage their reputation and everything they have. They risk it all just to get more money that they didn't even need. It's easy to forget this when you're seeing people around you spending their money and all the marketing messages telling you how you should be spending yours. On one side, you'll get the messages saying you need to live frugally to be rich and you need to save to be rich. And on the other side, you need to quit your job and be traveling and be living your best life. And with these contrasting narratives, it's very easy to lose yourself within that. Money, up to a certain point, will buy you freedom and control. And then after that, that value needs to come intrinsically. Know who you are and what matters the most to you. So those are the 5 most important lessons that I've taken away from this book. Highly recommend it. And I've been applying it to many parts of my life. I'm interested to know if you have fallen into one of these emotional traps, either subconsciously or consciously. And now that you're aware of the trigger, what you'll be doing to come out of the cycle. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in my next video.